Honorable Justice Adeyemi of the Lagos State High Court, Ikeja Division. A round of applause for my Lord. We have our dinner speaker, who is one of the leading lights of this profession. The Honorable Mrs. Titilola Akinlawa, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. You know, moments back I was talking about the national anthem and the wonderful rendition. By the way, I'm going to commend these people again. It's a wonderful one. I'm hoping I'm going to get a recording of this national anthem as they played it. I hope it was recorded. It's impressive that I didn't see people putting their hands to their heart when the national anthem was playing. Have you noticed that on several occasions when the national anthem is playing, people put their hands to their heart? Do you know the reason why some people do it? Because the law actually requires people in the United States, if you're not in military uniform, when the Star-Spangled Banner, which is the US national anthem, plays, if you're not wearing a uniform, to put your hands across your heart. If you're in uniform, you salute while the Star-Spangled Banner, by the way, is the national anthem of the United States. And so when you see Nigerians doing that, you wonder whether there is a similar legislation. But I'm really impressed. It means the students of Caleb University are not only learning the law, they are also men and women of affairs. A round of applause for yourselves. We'll continue with the introductions. We have with us Mr. Kayode Eniton, Senior Advocate of Nigeria.
We will also recognize the presence of Mr. Babatunde Ogala, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Can we please celebrate him? We also recognize the presence of the chairperson of FIDA Ikeja branch, Mrs. Marian Jones.
I'm sure, it's natural that we'll introduce the people who are here already before we get into the faculty and the staff of the university. So those of you who are looking to know who your host for today's occasion are, please keep your powder dry. We'll get to where they are. Let me introduce my boss, the chairman of the Lagos branch of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Ikechukwu Owanna. And of course, we have with us the president of the African Women Lawyers Association, one of the better legal practitioners and litigators you see in this climb, Mrs. Efe Etomi. She's a senior partner at that legendary law firm, FROA Williams Chambers. And I'm sure some of you have also heard of a law firm called Judge Etomi and Associates, or is it partners? She's not a member of that firm, even if she is associated, if I'll call it that, with that firm. We're happy to have her here.
At this point, we would like to invite to the platform the Dean of the College of Law, Caleb University, in person of Dr. Foluke Dada. I dare to say she's the mother of today's event, a great woman who can make things happen. Can we please make welcome a quintessential person, Dr. Foluke Dada. You have the floor, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you, Joke, for that warm welcome. Good evening, everyone. Let me start with the protocols. First, I like to deviate from what I have written down here. I'm going to start by saying thank you to God Almighty for allowing today to happen. It is indeed a privilege. So I start. The governor of Lagos State, I'm sure somebody will come in for him or he will be here, hopefully. My Lord, the Honorable Chief Judge of Lagos State and Mentoring Chair, Caleb University College of Law Board, my lords here present, the Honorable Attorney General of Lagos State, Mr. Moyo Onigbanjo, SAN, the founder, Caleb University, Dr. Oladega Adebogun, the Vice Chancellor, Caleb University, Professor Nosa Owens, the principal officers here present, distinguished learned senior advocates of Nigeria, and I must mention the representative of the chairman of the Council of Legal Education, Dr. Nasir, my mentor, the Igiwe, Professor Ademola Popola, my teacher. I welcome you. Distinguished learned colleagues, my learned senior colleagues, my learned colleagues, and my aspiring lawyers, my students, parents, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all. And on behalf of the Caleb University community, and particularly the board of the College of Law, I'm delighted to welcome you all to our inaugural bar dinner. Caleb University College of Law is certainly one of the youngest colleges of law in Nigeria today, as we are the only in our second year of the 5-year law degree program. We're only in our second year of the 5-year law degree program. And I must say, we're the first private college of law in the state, in Lagos State here. So we occupy a pride of place. But as you thank you. But as you can see, we're already making giant strides in our conscious plan to start in earnest the process of training fit and proper lawyers that will take over from our own generation. It is at this very juncture that I would like to express my appreciation to the visionary founder of my university, Caleb University, Dr. Oladega Adebogun, who has been readily providing strong support to us in organizing this bar dinner. God bless you, sir. I appreciate very profoundly too my Vice Chancellor, Professor Nosa Owenibie, who, but for his leadership and the deep love for our college, we would not be here today. And I want to thank you personally, sir, for keeping me here. He's the pillar that's holding me in Caleb. I thank you. I thought we'll give him an applause. I also want to thank my Lord, the Honorable Chief Judge of Lagos State, Honorable Justice Kazeem Olanrewaju Alugba, who graciously accepted to be the monitoring chair of our young college. Caleb University College of Law, like I said, is the first private university in Lagos State to host a law program. And hence, we see ourselves as trailblazers in the training of our lawyers. Our curriculum is laden with modern but innovative courses that will be a catalyst of responsive and contemporary legal education and practice for the Nigeria of our dream. To mention but a few, even at 200 level, we are already offering innovative courses, including the Nigerian law enforcement, character in leadership, Nigerian peoples and culture, and so many other courses that are quite innovative. You will agree with me that none of us here present, as seniors to these young ones, had the privilege of such creative and era-sensitive courses in our time in the university. And as we all know, bar dinner is a mandatory requirement in law training. It is therefore beyond sitting at the table to wine and dine. It is indeed an aspect of a deliberate plan of equipping these would-be lawyers with some morality, character, decorum, and such other values of the legal profession. And I also must say a big thank you to my female colleagues who are here. I have the International Federation of Women Lawyers here. That's my constituency. I have the African Women Lawyers Association here. And I do have the Nigerian Bar Association Women Forum, of which I proudly served as a member of council. I have the Nigerian Bar Association generally, of which I also served as vice chairman of a branch, as the chairman of Ado-Ekiti branch, and as the second vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association national. Indeed, I'm home. I have my own chair here, my branch, the NBA Lagos branch, IK Nwana Esquire. You're welcome. I thank you all. I thank every lawyer here for coming. We are indeed good mentors to these young ones. And I just don't want to take it for granted that you came. Your time is indeed precious. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Have enjoyed the dinner. Thank you.
Right. A round of applause for the Dean of Law. Again, let me say before I accepted this invitation that I knew little about Caleb University, but I knew the reputation of the Dean of Law preceded her. And what I've seen in this last few minutes has been so impressive that I'm going to be singing the praises of this university and its students to wherever it is I go to. And let me say how lucky the students are to have Dr. Dada as their Dean of Law. A round of applause for her. We did introduce ourselves at some point, but it would appear that we didn't have everyone in the hall at the time. And so let me let her start.
A beautiful evening, eminent dignitaries present. My name is Joke Fekumo. I'm a legal practitioner, and I am a lead coach and the founder of Polished Speech Consult. At Polished Speech Consult, we coach people on diction, public speaking, etiquette, and social polish. We compare events, and we also do voiceovers. I welcome all of us once again.
I thought the applause would be louder. Good. I mean, isn't she doing something impressive? Going out of her way to coach people, teach people how to speak properly. It's what is lacking in some ways. My name is Kalu Abose. I'm a legal practitioner. I do mostly transactional work, some courtroom work, and I practice here in Lagos. Of course, one of the advantages of being in this environment is that you get to recall the days past when we were starting out. Nobody would have known where this profession would have taken us to. And it's an impressive journey so far. And I encourage all of you who are here, who are students, to know that the journey ahead of you is going to be checkered, is going to be interesting, and you'll be in for a good ride. I don't know how many parents of the students are here. Are there parents here? Parents of the students? A round of applause for yourselves. I think you've made a fantastic choice in sending your wards to this particular university. And if you have any doubts yet about whether they made a right choice, I cannot tell you that they absolutely have made a fantastic choice. The current president of the United States of America is a lawyer. So is the vice president. And it's not the first time it's happened. Clinton is a lawyer. His vice president is a lawyer. And at hardly any time in the history of the United States Senate that you do not see a population of lawyers in the US Senate and in the House of Representatives. Nigeria is evolving, and we're getting there soon. And these young people that are being trained will have a lot of options of what they choose to do. We're going to recognize some of the other distinguished personalities who are here. I'm sure every lawyer has heard of Professor Ademola Kpokpola of the Faculty of Law, University, Obafemi Awolowo University. For those of you who have heard of him, I've not seen him, he's here in person. Professor Kpokpola. A round of applause, please. Round of applause. He's trained many lawyers, and one or two people in this place have told me he was my lecturer. And sir, your reward is not in heaven. I'm sure you are going to get a lot of your reward here. A pleasure to see you. I personally will take responsibility for this late introduction, and is completely inadvertent, given that my license to practice law was because I have a certificate signed by Dr. Nasiru Tijani or his predecessors. It's a real error on my part not to have introduced the Deputy Director General of the Lagos Law School, Victoria Island, Dr. Nasiru Tijani. A round of applause for him. That is the second stage of the training for lawyers, and they are doing a fantastic job.
We recognize Dr. Jide Martins, the Director of Public Prosecution, Lagos State. It gives me great pleasure and honor to invite to this platform the Vice Chancellor of the Caleb University for the welcome address. Can we please make welcome the indefatigable Professor Nosa Owens Ibe.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols duly observed. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know the protocols of the lawyers. We give our thanks to the Lord. Thanks to the Lord. Thanks to the Lord. We give our... Did they say you can't sing because you are not lawyers? We give our thanks to the Lord. Thanks to the Lord. Thanks to the Lord. One more time we give our thanks to the Lord. Thanks to the Lord. Thanks to the Lord. We give our thanks to the Lord. Thanks to the Lord. Thanks to the Lord. And so I want to thank the Almighty God for this beautiful day and this beautiful occasion. It's special in so many ways, and because this is the first time in the history of Caleb University that I know that we will host a meeting like this in a place like this with all the distinguished people like this in this venue. A round of applause. That's why while I'm observing all protocols, I'm also thanking the Almighty God who has made this possible. Psalm 126 verse 1 says, when the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we're like them that dream. We're like them that dream. And God has just started with us. You know, the history of our College of Law is a fairy tale. On February 10, 2021, the Nigerian Universities Commission approved the law program in Caleb University. By November 29, the Council of Legal Education approved the law program in Caleb University. By January 24, 2022, we took in our first set of students into the College of Law, Caleb University. And by March 3, 2022, the Chief Judge of Lagos, Honorable Justice Kazeem Alogba, agreed to chair the board of the College of Law of Caleb University. So, like they say, we are very special. We are not just ordinary, we are special people. You know, if you look at the kind of students that we have, and I'm still coming to the lecturers, because we're just starting. It's amazing what is happening or what's evolving in Caleb University. We started with 36 students. At the end of the first semester last year, we had 10 of the 36 students on the first class bracket with a CGPA of 5.0. And out of that number, one of them had a 5.0 CGPA. That's the highest you can possibly have. And the name is Joy Solala Tamuno Okobia. Where is she? Maybe, where is she? Please come and join me here. The reason why I'm asking her to join me is because I like associating with successful people. I did not make a first class myself. I made a second class upper. But from the very first semester that Joy entered the College of Law, Joy entered the College of Law. Now you will think that for 10 students to be in the first class bracket was a huge achievement. But by the second semester, guess what happened? The number of those who had the CGPA of 5.0 rose to 6 among the students. And altogether, 23 of them were now in the first class bracket in the second semester. You can see I don't know whether they call it algebra or I don't know what it is, but you can see the rise. Now, at the end of that session, that's the first session, we now have 17 of them on the aggregate that had moved to that first class bracket. And one name has been consistent, and that name is Joy Solala Tamuno Okobia. I'm delighted that the Deputy Director General of the Nigerian Law School, Lagos, Dr. Nasir Tijani, is here. Because you have not seen anything yet in the law school until Caleb University students will come. Then you come and see how first class will just be flying. What are you going to make? Tell them. What will you make when you get to law school?
5.0, sir.
Okay. When she comes to law school, she will show you what we have made of. So I'm delighted to invite everybody, to welcome everyone to this meeting. And I want to thank God that we have the quality of staff that we have. Our pioneer dean had left, but Dr. Foluke Dada joined, and she has been a mother to everybody. You can see the passion. Yesterday, I had to put my phone on silent because some calls were coming, and I knew I had to concentrate. I discovered later in the evening that Dr. Foluke Dada had called me about 3 times. If she calls me once, I normally give God the glory. For her to call me 3 times, it must have been a very serious matter. So I tried to return the call, but I couldn't get her until this morning. But we appreciate you and all the work you are doing in College of Law. I want to thank Dr. Asaju and all the beautiful people in the College of Law. I want you to enjoy yourself this evening because that's why we are here. We are announcing the arrival of Caleb University to the law domain, and we intend to make our mark in Jesus' name. I should have read law. Let me close with that. I ought to have read law. I missed reading law by 1 day. Maybe Professor Ademola Popola would have known me by now. Because when I had the GCE level, I was admitted to the University of Lagos to study mass communication. So I went to go and pay the fee, the one that when you accept admission. So when I got, of course, it was the first time I was admitted, I got the letter at home, so I came. But my father wanted me to read law. So he now said I should go to University of Ife. That time there was no JAMB. You could apply to as many universities as you choose. So by then I got my advanced level, which was better than the GCE A level that we did that took me to Unilag. And I went to Ife. I got to Ife, I got to the registry, and I saw one of my old mates in secondary school. He was working there. So when I showed him, he said, this one will get you into the school. So I went back home expecting a letter from Ife for law. It never came until the day Unilag was to resume. I left for the University of Lagos to start my mass communication. The following day, the telegram came to my father, admitting me in University of Ife for law. So my father sent me a telegram that I should come, and I started asking questions. Which one should I read? Even when I got to Unilag, I made effort through Professor Viegara and the others to see how I could change to law. It was almost succeeding, but eventually I didn't change. So when I got the Ife letter, I tried to, to ask, what should I do? Eventually, I wrote my father why I won't come or go to University of Ife, that I want to stay in mass communication. You know my reasons? I said, I've heard that when you go to court, they can even jazz you. You can drop dead while presenting the case. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Can we give the Vice Chancellor another round of applause? Thank you very much, sir.
I was going to say that when I went to the university, vice chancellors did not look like this. They usually wearing slim, and they didn't wear fine double-breasted suits of this nature. And they didn't usually make it brief. He spoke for a brief period and covered the subject matter in a short while. Back in those days, when a vice chancellor is going to speak, you know that people are likely to go to sleep before the vice chancellor is done. A round of applause for this one. He's done it very well. Talking about lawyers and what it is you'd expect, I hope we're paying attention to the sort of protocols so that people don't get to, when the time comes, and make mistakes. You've heard about the new wig who recently called to the bar and went to court to represent an accused person, and he was so nervous when he was going to announce himself. He said, "May it please the accused, I appear for his lordship." Now, it wasn't like he didn't know the right thing to say. I guess he was just nervous. But hopefully, we're going to pay attention to the nonsense of the proper protocol of what it is we do. There are a few other people who've also come in. Mrs. Adedoyin Sobiye, the immediate past vice chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, Ikeja branch. And we have the immediate past secretary of the MBA Ikeja branch, Mr. Adeyemi Abijo. We'll still recognize people as we proceed. It's called a dinner, and so in a short while, we're going to be getting into the nitty-gritty of it. There's a certain senior lawyer who always says that when we come to occasions like this, while a lot of people get food for thought, others have thought for food. So those of us who are having thought for food, I can assure you it is around the corner. And if all the things that have been done have gone so smoothly and so fantastic so far, then you can expect that the food and the things that will go with it and the appurtenances, right? How is it pronounced? Will also be as fantastic. Let me let her take us through and tell us how it's going to go and what to expect.
Thank you very much once again. They say music is the food for the soul. At this point, we'd like to have some food for our souls as we invite J.T. King and his melorhythmic entertainers to give us some food for our souls. J.T. King, over to you.
See. Oh. síwájú ọba tó lè ṣú lọ́nà Elédùmarè ọba ló kò lè bàbá.
Round of applause for them. Food for the soul. Fantastic rendition. It's been a fantastic evening so far. I'm sure some of you wondered when you saw some movement on the front benches, a lot of movement around, and a very tall, elegant lady walking in and people leaving their seats to go and pay their respects as it's proper. For those of you who do not know, it is the Honorable Administrative Judge, Lagos Division of the High Court of Lagos State, the Honorable Justice Olutoyin Ekpaye. My Lord, you're welcome. A round of applause for her. My Lord is a very conscientious, very knowledgeable, and very astute judge. Lagos State Judiciary is lucky to have her in its service. A round of applause again for my Lord. I also like to recognize the Honorable Justice Raman Oshodi. A round of applause. Justice Oshodi is a trailblazer, and although he has not spent very long on the bench, he's receiving recognition, he's been receiving recognition left, right, and center. People who appear before his court have good things to say, and the commendation, you know what it means when lawyers and practitioners commend a judge. And so you first heard it from me. If you want to see what a future Supreme Court justice looks like, you have Justice Oshodi before you. By the way, he was one of the recipients of the award of the Nigerian Bar Association Lagos branch in December, a branch of which he was a member before his elevation. We have several other dignitaries here with us, but we're going to proceed to have the remarks of one of the distinguished gentlemen in the hall today, the Chief Law Officer of Lagos State, one of my favorite people. There's a story I like to tell, and every time I tell this story, people will ask me whether he's the Honorable Attorney General of Lagos. But let me reserve the story for another day. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice of Lagos State, Mr. Moyo Shore Onigbanjo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria.
Whilst it is very tempting seeing the array of the legends of the profession in this room this afternoon to rest on all established protocols, I cannot but acknowledge the presence of the very esteemed judges of the High Court of Lagos State, led by none less a person than one of my favorite judges, the Honorable Justice Toyin Ekpaye, Administrative Judge of the Lagos Division. Also gracing this occasion is the Honorable Justice Balogun, another giant of the Lagos bench. There is also with us today Justice Adeyemi, who also was a one-time DPP, the Lagos State Ministry of Justice. And you've been told about Justice Ramon Oshodi. I think just in the annals of the Lagos State Judiciary, I think Justice Oshodi is one of the youngest to be appointed to the bench of the Lagos Division. I also acknowledge the Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, my brethren in the inner and outer bar, the Chairman of the Lagos branch, my own Chairman, and the most important people in the room today are students from the very as your Vice Chancellor has told us, from a College of Law that is making an impact already in the profession even before you are called to the bar. All these dignitaries in the legal profession, the creme de la creme, some of the leading lights of the profession that have gathered at your instance today, they've come all this way not because they cannot afford dinner on their own, or because they cannot afford to buy a few drinks for themselves. But they've come principally to celebrate each and every one of you in the College of Law of Caleb University. The reason for celebrating you is because we know that, give or take, in the next 20, 30 years, most of the leading lights of the profession that are dining with you this evening would have made their way to retirement, and they'll be replaced by the galaxy of stars that has been described to us. It's no mean feat to have a class of law and to have at least over 50% of them in the first class range. So you must clap for yourselves. You guys are very lucky. I'll tell you, when I was in university, one of my professors used to boast that 50, if you get 50, that was for you. 60 was for him. 70 was for the dean. And anything above that was for God. So you guys are very lucky that your hard work is being recognized. But really, just to tell you that you're lucky to be aspiring to go into the best profession that you can ever go to. There are only, with respect to your VC and other non-lawyers here, there are only two professions in this world: law and all the other professions. So, you have made the right choice by going into this profession. The profession, however, is a very jealous profession. It's a very competitive profession because in any gathering, in any society, lawyers always take the front seat. And you are therefore privileged to have this opportunity, because when you know, anywhere you go, you say the leaders of tomorrow, the leaders of tomorrow. And these leaders of tomorrow are you lawyers. Because, you know, with the laws that you make, the laws that you during court work, court decisions, whatever, that is how you shape the society in which you are. And in coming into the profession, you must make sure that you do not lower the esteem in which the profession is held. So I will not say much to you today. Let us enjoy the dinner. Typically, the formal dinners we have at the Nigerian Law School, I'm privileged by virtue of my office to be a bencher. And Dr. Nasiru Tijani will tell you when he takes the mic that those dinners, I think there are about 4 of them in a year. Those dinners do not last beyond an hour. They start on the dot at 5 and they end at 6. And so It is not the law dinner that you have to imbibe the culture is not your typical Owambe party. It is not a rave. It is not something to entertain you with. So you must take it seriously. You must imbibe the culture. We must stick to time, and we must all be out of here on the dot of the appointed time. And that's the kind of profession you're going into. So it's not a night for long speeches, not a night to start quoting Lord Denning or what have you, but just to charge you to be up and doing, and to come into the profession, as your Vice Chancellor has said, we are all looking out for your set. It seems that you're going to be the antivirus that will cure a lot of the plagues afflicting not just our profession, but Nigeria as a country. God bless Caleb University. God bless the College of Law. God bless all you students. And we look forward, in my retirement, I'm going to be looking forward to reading about Joy, about all the other people in your first class range, and to say that, oh, I remember that day that I attended this ceremony when this young lady was celebrated. God bless you all.
Please, another round of applause for the Honorable Attorney General. You know, it's strange, since I mentioned about the story, that people have been asking me to tell the story. I'm going to tell the story against my better judgment. I'd consider that judges before whom I appear are here, and a lot of people are also here. But I'll tell the story. And let me start with a caveat that this happened very long ago. As a young lawyer, I went to attend a conference where I was the star of the conference because I spoke rather well, even if I say so myself. There was a very beautiful young lady who was the star of the conference, and very quickly we formed a common law marriage. And 2 days into the conference, a very handsome young senior advocate of Nigeria bounces in. While I was talking about going for arbitration in Warri and in Abuja, the senior advocate was talking about going for arbitration in Paris and going to arbitration in far-flung places of the world. Within 24 hours of the arrival of this handsome senior advocate of Nigeria, my common law wife disappeared. She was nowhere to be found. And one morning, I was going to, by the way, this senior advocate in question was a proper recognized egbon of mine. Everybody knew I was his boy. And I carried his bag, and I actually had the key to his apartment on the island. And I went to his hotel, as his routine when he's in town, to check for, I've forgotten what I was going to do early in the morning. And guess who I saw in his room? My common law wife. And I quickly ran away from the place. When we came back to Lagos, I saw the senior advocate. Normally I'll see him now, I'll greet him, and he will say, Aburomi. And this time I refused to greet him. I was really very annoyed. And I looked at him and said, what is wrong with you? I didn't want to talk to him. Anyway, after a while, he said, is it because of that girl? What is wrong with you? I was only trying to mentor her. And I took his word for it. But it's strange that every time I tell this story, people ask me whether it's the Honorable Attorney General. And I've always said he's not the one. I mean, he's a very outstanding, I know he fits the profile. He's tall, he's handsome, he's a senior advocate of Nigeria, and women do like him. You could see the attention people were paying when he was speaking, but let me say he was not the one. Now you've heard the story, please do not hold it against me, and this is a very true story. Of course, like I said, this happened very many years ago. It's not a reflection on me. I don't think you should take it that way. And like I've said, it is not the Honorable Attorney General who was involved. Now, let's continue with the we're going to go to the next item, which is the highlight of today's dinner, which is a dinner lecture. Let me invite to the podium the Honorable Antonia Titilola Akinlawo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, for the dinner speech. A round of applause for her. My colleague is going to read her citation before the
May I have your attention, please? Antonia Titilola Akinlawo, SAN, have a tertiary education at the prestigious University of Lagos, Akoka, Lagos, from 1977 to 1980, and proceeded to the law school in the same year and was called to the bar on the 11th of July, 1981. In June 1982, she joined the law firm of M.I. Jegede and Co., and later enrolled at University of Lagos for her master's degree. In 1980,